the curse of Narva may be over. Today began with a visit to a vassal castle, which was unfortunately closed. Our first stop today is a vassal castle of Purtse, and to our big disappointment we cannot get in because today they are open from 5 in the evening. Still a great building with its towers and reinforced doors. Curious thing is that the well is outside of the reinforced building itself. Then we headed towards Veloster and wanted to see the Veloster Waterfall, which is the tallest waterfall in Estonia.
You got a fast car, I want a ticket anywhere. Maybe we could make a deal. Maybe together we could get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove.
So this is where the water is supposed to come from, and it's all dried up. Thank you, Drought. Apparently it has dried up because of the drought. It's been the hottest couple of weeks of the past 5 or more years, and the stream which feeds the waterfall was completely dry. Then we headed towards Narva, but couldn't get very far because my bike started acting like it's running out of fuel. I switched to reserve, but that didn't change anything at all. So I was looking for the nearest gas station. I opened up my phone, searched this Google Maps for the gas stations in the area, and found that one was only a few kilometers away. I decided that maybe I'll make it close enough to at least walk there and get the fuel. We drove there and there was never a gas station at that location. It was only living buildings, apartment buildings, and I asked locals. They told no, this village doesn't even have a gas station. The nearest one is in the town of Jõhvi. And then I drove there. The bike reached there. To my amazement, I filled the gas tank up and nothing changed. It was still running on only a few of the cylinders. So I reached out to a local contact I know through work. He invited me to a location where there was a workshop. Of course, they didn't know anything about motorcycles, but they allowed me to use their tools. So I first checked the spark. The spark was fine. The spark plugs were pretty okay, and then I had to take apart the carburetors again. And funnily enough, even though I cleaned them a few nights ago, there were a couple of carburetors. The smaller jets were jammed or partly jammed. So I cleaned everything. I cleaned the fuel ducts or lines or whatever you call them in the carbs, everything with compressed air. And I put the bike back together. Suddenly it had power, but it still didn't quite sound okay. So we decided that we're going to stop the trip. Then headed back towards Tallinn, because as all the cylinders were firing, I was pretty sure that I won't damage the engine, and I can ride a couple of 100 kilometers back home if I take it easy. And I drove maybe 10 or so kilometers on the highway, and the engine is running normally. I slowed down, I tried it on the lower revolutions, everything's working perfectly. So we turned around again and headed to Narva. Of course, we didn't make it to the Narva Museum, which we wanted to visit today. When we arrived to Narva, it was just about their closing time. But we decided to take a motel here, which cost us the terrible 19 euros. But I think we'll survive on that. I think I'll survive. So when I spoke about a curse before, I didn't only mean the bike breaking down today, but actually we tried coming here a few years ago on scooters. As my girlfriend doesn't yet have a motorcycle license, I bought two scooters, 50cc, which can be driven with a car license if you're born before 19. Well, it's legislation thing. You can drive it with a car license. And now, when we tried going there, we had everything packed. It was a planned 2-week trip, week there and week back. Because scooters are so slow, and we decided to ride only back roads, not to get on the highway or anything, and take it slow, tent and all that. But on the day we started going, first thing, it was raining heavily. We had the gear, we didn't worry. We took the scooters, and my scooter had a flat. I thought not so big thing. I rolled it to the nearest gas station, tried to pump it up. It turned out the air valve was broken, and we couldn't get the new one anywhere. It took 2 or 3 days to get the new air valve and have it replaced. Even though I took the wheel off myself and so forth. So we already were in trouble with time because the scooter were so slow. We had to ride pretty much a week to get here. And then the next year we also wanted to come with scooters, but my girlfriend switched jobs, and then she was unable to get the vacation to match with mine. So 2 years in a row the same plan was not followed through, or we were unable to come here, and now this is the 3rd attempt and we finally reached it. So that's why I say the curse may be broken. We'll see what the bike does tomorrow though. And after that we walked around in Narva, visited a shopping center where we saw a funny rabbit thingy riding on a cable. Then we saw some amazing historic buildings right next to industrial buildings and Soviet era apartment buildings. And then we saw something I didn't even understand what it was. I asked from a local guy, and he only spoke Russian, but I think I understood him correctly that it was used as a water reservoir at some point, but it's staying useless now. And it's a bit strange spot for a water reservoir, just to be put on top of an apartment building. But you know, Soviet engineering, they knew best. And for the cultural experience today, we visited a memorial of Paul Keres, who is or was one of the Estonia's best known chess players, and the only chess player I know of whose face has ended up on a bill of currency. So Estonia had their own currency before we started using euro. So from 92, I think, to 2011, maybe something like that. I'm not quite sure of the years, but right after we regained independence, which was on 91, then the next year, I believe, was the currency exchange, and our money had a lot of cultural people on them, and one of those on a 5 crown bill, there was Estonia's one of the best known chess players, Paul Keres. So that's who we went to see. This memorial was, or this statue was put up 2 years ago to remember his 100th birthday. So that's the recap of today. It has been a roller coaster emotionally because of the bike mostly, but hopefully I will not experience any more problems with it during this trip. And tomorrow we definitely want to see the Narva Museum, the Narva Castle, and then head forward towards south. Here we have some historic decorations of someone's long-sleeved hand grabbing a baby's genitalia.